Hello and welcome to Live in the Hive. I'm Michelle Eagleton and you're watching the only online magazine show dedicated to theatre across Greater Manchester. Have we had a good week? Well, I hope so, and I hope tonight makes it even better because we have got some great guests on the show this evening, especially if you are a big fan of Six, because look at this. We are going to be speaking to one of the queens from that hit musical, which is currently just making a blast everywhere. It's on Broadway, it's been in the West End, and it's going on tour and coming to the Lowry, no less. So I'm going to be talking to Anne Boleyn a little bit later, aka Jen Caldwell. You don't want to miss that one. And a West End star, Gina Beck, will be joining me to talk about South Pacific, which has been making waves at Manchester's Opera House over the past couple of weeks. And I tell you what, it has certainly had the weather for it, hasn't it? Thankfully, it has cooled down just a little bit in Greater Manchester, but the theatre is still hot. And talking about theatre, well, we have this every week, don't we? We have Greater Manchester Theatre News. So a little bit later on, I'm going to be telling you all that's been going on with announcements and reveals, you name it. But first off, we're going to kick off the show in style with a queen, no less. And I got very excited about chatting to this lady. Now, I've been trying to bag a queen from Six for ages. I finally got one. She's northern, she's fabulous. She's called Jen Caldwell, and we had a great old natter. Take a look. Now, I have to say, when I got the call saying that I am getting to interview a queen, I was so excited. I am a huge fan of Six. And I've got to say, you play one of my favourite queens.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, just don't mess with your head too much because you're about to lose it, aren't you, Anne Boleyn?
Honestly, it's hanging on by a thread.
Yeah. What is it like being in this musical? Because it looks so much fun.
It is amazing. It's the most fun. I think it's the most fun show I've ever done. It's the hardest show I've ever done, I think, too. But to be able to be on stage with however many, there's 10 of us in total, so 9 other women on stage is just the best thing ever. Because where else do you get that?
No, not at all. You have brought girl power back into the forefront completely with Six musical. And, you know, I've got to say, not only do you get a bit of a history lesson, because I didn't know about all those queens, but the music, once it's in your mind, you just can't stop singing it. And you do leave with a big smile on your face. What is that like, kind of seeing the reaction from the audience? Because we all do go a little bit crazy.
I love that, though. I've been in a few shows before this, and I've been in shows that I had this reaction and stuff, but nothing like this ever. And it's not just, you know, you get like a Saturday night show and the audience are, you know, they've had a lovely day in the sun, and it's every show is like that. And to be able to finish your show with that feeling from the audience is just, it's incredible. It takes a while to come down from, I think, every day.
I would imagine. So take me back to kind of when you got the part then of one of the queens, because I know on tour before you have actually done Anne Boleyn and Howard, haven't you? So it's kind of like, so when you go in, do you audition for a particular queen or do they put you in that role?
I think when with this show in particular, when we first auditioned, so I first auditioned back in 2019. So with that first audition, I went in and it was like, let's do a dance audition, and then we've chosen 6 songs, pick the songs, 2 of the songs that you want to sing, and then from there they kind of get a bit of a vibe about who you are, what you choose, and that kind of gives them a clue as to who you're more likely to play, I think. But I've played all 6 of them in the last tour, which was amazing.
Wow, I didn't know that. I thought it was just 2.
So I was alternate for 2. So I played Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard like every week. So I'd have a scheduled show every week, and then you have to cover the other 4 in case of emergency. And there must have been some emergencies, and I got thrown on for various different ones and ended up playing all 6 of them in
That's
total. Yeah.
quite cool though, isn't it? Because every queen has that different sass and that different personality about them. So, you know, to get to play every single one of them is pretty much a dream.
It is. And they tell you to like bring out sides of your, especially as a swing and as an alternate, they used to say, you know, bring out different sides of your personality. So, you know, you can bring out your Anne Boleyn and you can be a bit cheeky and a bit fun. And then you've got your Pa, which is calmer and like a little bit more nurturing. And it's just bringing all those bits out of you. And it helps. I don't know, like we're getting deep now, but it helped me kind of figure out who I am and what's, you know, how many different sides of me there are and which I resonate more with. And it was amazing. It was an absolutely amazing experience. And then I think when I got a phone call from my agent and they said, you know, at the cast change, they want to offer you Anne Boleyn, I was like, okay, that's amazing. Thanks.
I have got to say, Anne is my favourite. You know, I'm often in the kitchen, and this sounds really bizarre, but I'm often going, "Don't lose your head."
Sorry, frying your eggs.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it's classic in our house. My little girl is 12, and she sung it for an audition for her school play in the last year of primary school.
Oh my god!
Everybody else was doing like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and she brought it with Anne Boleyn. And she got the big role. She got the main
Did
role.
she?
I was like,
come on,
get in. Now, honestly, it is such a cult. It is such, you know, this massive musical now. And it's on Broadway as well, which is like amazing. But taking it back to its first origins, I've got to say, I met your boss, Lucy Moss, the creator. Right. I've not met Toby yet, but I've met Lucy. And I'm going to play something now, which might surprise you. So let's take a look. And I know you're going to be picking up awards. I can feel it in my waters. Honestly, it has such echoes of kind of Hamilton, the freshness, but you're rocking it for women. So is there an ultimate dream? What kind of award would you like to get?
Oh my god, no, I have absolutely no idea. Like, that is beyond the realms of even being able to, no, I couldn't possibly say.
See, she didn't think it was going to be that much of a success. What is that all about?
Which is crazy, because so here's the story for you. I worked at the Arts Theatre when it first went to the Arts Theatre. So like I was on the box office. So I remember it coming in when it just did 4 Mondays in succession. So Mondays was the dark day from the show that was in.
Yeah.
And it came in on these Mondays. And everyone was going mad for it. It was sold out. People were losing their minds. And I was on the box office and I hadn't seen it. And so my friend Christina Modestu, who's on the album, who is Anne Boleyn on the album, we worked together before.
Wow.
I know. What a full circle moment. But I thought, I'm going to pop in. I'm going to see what the fuss is about. And I walked in, I was like, this is going to be something. Like, it's got to be. It's got to be. And then it came back to the Arts and I was there for a little while and I was like, it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And
now, I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. Would you like to be part of the Broadway cast at some point?
Do you know, it would be amazing. I'm just happy to be a part of the show as a whole. Do you know what I mean? Like something that has such a positive influence on people and such a positive message. I'm just happy to be there in any form. I'm just like, yep, sign me up. I'm there.
And it's not just a musical as well, because I've got to say, it's a little bit of a fashion statement, because I've got to say, the merch, I've been to loads of musicals, Jen, and I'm sure you have as well. And you like to pick up a bit of merch, but usually it's just a key ring or a mug. Right, you ready for this?
Not here. Oh, stop. We've got matching hats. I got one of those too.
Yay! Well, I feel I've got like the Boleyn kind of hairdo with this.
That's why I got them. That's why I got one. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a Boleyn bobble hat. I have this.
My dog walks are so much better in my 6 hat. I've got to say, it's like, yes, I'm rocking it for 6.
I got stopped. This was at Christmas because we were at the Lowry last Christmas, and I was walking my dog, and I had my little 6 hat on, and there was a family that walked past me, and they were like, "Oh, she's got a 6 hat on. She's got a 6 hat on," and I was like, and they went, are you Jen? I was like, oh my word. Oh my word. I got
Oh,
recognised on a dog walk.
absolutely brilliant. And that must be
It's mad.
great because the
Yeah.
Lowry is almost home for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because you grew up in Glossop, didn't you? Then
I did.
you were at Marple, weren't you?
I did. Yes, I
Yeah.
was.
So you're from our neck of the woods, Jen.
I
And so what's it
am.
like to play the Lowry? Because of course you're coming back in August to the Lowry.
Yeah.
Do all the family kind of like clamber in and your mates?
Yeah. I mean, it was harder last time because it was like I wasn't guaranteed to be on all the time, and they're like, "When are you going to be on?" I was like, "I don't know." But now it's amazing. I'm like, I'm going to be on the whole time, probably, hopefully. I was like, just get a ticket and I'll be there. And I actually get my birthday there as well, which is
Oh,
amazing.
amazing. When's your
So
birthday?
it's the 6th of August.
Right. Okay, everybody, the 6th of August is
Write
going
it
to be
down.
brilliant. Yes, it's there. It's mentally noted in my head. And
But it's
taking you back
amazing.
to, that girl from Glossop, getting the chance to be on stage in a production like this and in these amazing shows, it is a bit of a dream, isn't it, for somebody from the north? Because it's hard from the north, and I think it still is in some ways, because a lot of the jobs are down south. A lot of the theatre schools are down south.
Yeah. A lot of the opportunities, I think, they're more clustered down south than they are. I mean, there are loads of things up north now, and I think it's much better now than it was, 25, 26 years ago when I was wanting to get into this. And I think, now you've got Media City and all of that amazing stuff up there. The opportunities are much broader, but it was hard, I think. And I think you brought up with that thing of, well, you're from the north and it's gonna be hard for you, but I think it makes you work harder. And I
Oh
think
no,
everyone that I know as that is from the north has
100%.
worked so much harder to get where they are, I think.
And we appreciate it, I think, in the north. And also, we've got really good crowds. I absolutely love the audiences in the north. We let you know when we love a show.
It's my favourite thing. I love a northern audience. I love all the audiences, for this show especially, but northern audiences, there's nothing like them. Nothing like them at all.
Well, you mentioned like the box office job before, and I've got to say, I thought this was like unreal, the story I heard about you getting your break. Because you were, as you said, at the box office at the Art Theatre, right?
Yeah.
And then the show comes. Was it the Knights of the Rose?
Knights of the Rose, yeah, that's it.
And they didn't have anybody to go on stage that night because was it like the one who was a stand-in was ill, and then
No, she was already on.
she
So
was
we had
on.
two. Yeah. So and then another girl went off, and they were like,
What do we do?
"What do we do?"
And so
Yeah,
they went and got you from the box office. That's just mental.
yeah. I mean, it was crazy, and I'd done a few jobs beforehand, and I was kind of in between work and stuff, and I'd auditioned for the show, which was like so hard, when you like audition for a show and then you're working in the theatre that the show's in, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm on the computer at box office, but that's just the nature of business. And I think they were like, can you do it? And I went, I haven't seen the show. No, I can't do it. I hadn't seen it. So and then they said, okay, well let's cut the scenes down. We'll give you like the integral scenes, integral dance numbers, integral songs, and then will that be easier? And I was like, okay, yeah, go on then. Let's do it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you did do it. I mean,
Me too.
wow. And then you went to get a part in the show as well, didn't you?
Yeah, they kept me on as a swing, which is amazing. Yeah.
That is so brilliant. That is, honestly, it's one of those like little fairy tale stories that you go, does that really happen? And it did.
It's terrifying. And now as well, after COVID, there's been loads of instances of it happening, and you see someone working in front of house has been asked to do it because people are having to call in sick, they've got not enough swings, and it could, just because of the nature of how everything's reopening. And I'm like, I love that. It's so exciting. Like
Yeah.
I was, and I'd done 2 jobs before that where they'd said to me, I hadn't had any rehearsal and I'd covered various parts, I think it was Princess Fiona in Shrek, and they were like, I was second cover, and the two people went down. I hadn't had a rehearsal, and they were like, "Could you do it?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go, let's do it."
That is brilliant. Gosh, do you know what? It reminds me of like back in the day, I used to perform myself. And it's a similar little bit of story. I was in Beauty and the Beast, but it wasn't the proper like Disney musical. It was a bit it was a bit more low-key. Let's just say Beauty's best friend was a dog, and I was the dog.
You were the dog.
I auditioned for Beauty, and I got the dog. I came out to "Who Let the Dogs Out?" But
I love that.
One particular night, she got ill, and I had to stand in for Beauty. It was a moment. I was like, the dress on and everything. I didn't have to have a black nose and a furry suit.
Oh, did you feel amazing?
I did.
I did.
She was. I know she was back on stage the next night, but I will always treasure that moment of Beauty.
Yes.
Look, let's get back to 6, because I want to finish with a bit of a question time for you. Are you up for it?
Yes, absolutely.
See, I've just thrown this on you. You had no idea about this. So I've got 6 quick fire questions. See what I did there? 6.
Very nice.
All right. Okay. So don't really think about it. Just answer one or the other. Are we ready, Jen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Chips and gravy or chips and curry sauce?
Chips and gravy, obviously.
Obviously, I'm so glad you said that. Dancing or singing?
Singing.
Yeah, okay. Countryside or city centre?
Countryside.
Lovely. Spice Girls or Girls Aloud?
Spice Girls all day, every day.
I'm loving you right now.
My era.
Or Take That?
Oh, I don't know. Take That.
Yay. And finally, Henry VIII or Shakespeare?
Shakespeare. Henry was horrible. Horrible.
Oh, I love having a little bit of fun there. And she was great at those questions. A girl after my own heart with some of those answers. That was a wonderful Jen Caldwell, who is starring in 6, which is coming very soon to the Lowry. I am so excited. If you've never seen that musical, you need to get yourself down there, because it is very, very special. Now, talking about something special and the Lowry, well, in this week's Greater Manchester Theatre News, we have got a bit of an announcement for you, because this is a brand new musical which is coming the Lowry's way. This makes me very excited, because as a child, I watched The Parent Trap. I don't know if you watched it with Hayley Mills back then, but of course, this is a story based on twins separated at birth. They come together at a summer camp, realise that they're twins, and try and get their mum and dad back together. These are the girls in question. We've got some exclusive theatre rehearsal shots here, and it looks like it's going to be a very exciting production. It is produced by Trevor Nunn, who of course has won so many Tony Awards and accolades. It's definitely going to be top notch, this one. It comes from the 19th of August to the 3rd of September at the Lowry. There are the parents, and look at this, some of the more talented kids as well that are going to be in this thrilling production. So yes, do try and catch that one if you can. I think that's going to be a really fantastic musical to watch out for. And talking of great musicals, well, we've had a cast announcement this week that this lady is going to be the new Rachel Marin in The Bodyguard when it comes to the Palace Theatre in Manchester next April. It's Melody Thornton, one of the Pussycat Dolls. You might remember that she went to the final in 2008 of Dancing on Ice. She's got a cracking voice. I think she is going to be absolutely fantastic in this role, which of course was made famous by Whitney Houston, who herself was a pop star. So I can really see this aligning with Melody really, really well. And I've got to say, I love The Bodyguard musical. Now, talking of musicals, I am going to introduce you to our next guest now, because she's starring in an absolutely brilliant classic. It's from Rodgers and Hammerstein. It is South Pacific. I caught up with the lady in question who is playing the lead, Nellie. She's Gina Beck, and here's what she had to say. You've certainly got the weather for South Pacific here
Ooh.
in Manchester right now. I mean, how is it going performing in this kind of heat?
The good thing is that the theatre is air conditioned. I mean, that doesn't happen in London. Thank God for Manchester and the Opera House. I don't know how they've managed to do it, but it's cold. It's nice. It's cool.
Love it.
Yes.
Even on stage, is it good? Because I know there's a lot of like singing and dancing and moving.
Yeah, I mean, it's hot because, yeah, like you said, you're physically active, but yeah, no, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. And also, I always think, it would have been hot in the South Pacific, so it's method acting.
It totally is. You've got it right here in Manchester. Usually it rains, Gina, but you've got nice weather. And this is your return to South Pacific, of course. And you starred in it before and then went off to have your gorgeous baby, who I don't think is much of a baby anymore.
No, he's 9 months now.
9 months.
9 months in.
Oh, wow. Did he come out with jazz hands, Gina?
Yeah, that's right. Singing the songs. He actually loves singing, and he's always really quiet when hearing any songs. He just suddenly goes, ooh.
Oh, that's amazing. It's definitely in his blood. What's it like to be back on stage though in such an amazing production?
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, it was just basically just going straight back into it. When we started rehearsals, it was like no time had gone past, and we got another 3 weeks to kind of reinvestigate some of the characters and some of their choices, and it was really good to have that extra time. When do you get to do a show for however many? We did like 70 performances, and then have another rethink about it, and then do it all again. So it was it's even better this time.
Fantastic. I mean, this is really a Rodgers and Hammerstein classic, isn't it? I mean, your character as well. I mean, you get the great songs, I've got to say. Wash that man right out of my hair.
Yes.
When it gets to that moment, do you, I mean, I know you're not meant to look at the audience, but do you kind of get the feeling that people are like, it's here, it's now?
Yeah, it's so funny when those big, like Some Enchanted Evening and Ain't Nothing But a Dame, like those songs come out and everyone goes, you can feel the collective kind of, oh yeah, we know this one thing from the audience. It's so sweet.
This one is coming and it's a classic and we absolutely love it. Well, the show itself, if no one has ever seen South Pacific, tell us a little bit about what it is about, because I think it's great and it's got a gorgeous love story to it.
Yeah, so it's set on an island in the South Pacific during the Second World War, when America was at war with the Japanese, and they were taking islands, to kind of get closer and closer to Japan to try and, defeat them. And these people have been on this island for about 9 months without anything happening. So that the war is not on their shores yet. So it's sort of like that feeling of anticipation, of being bored, of kind of going slightly out of your mind, sets up the kind of atmosphere of the show in the beginning. And my character, Nellie, has gone onto the island to be a nurse. And she's met this French plantation owner at a party, and gone to his house and starts up a kind of relationship with him. Very different people they are, but sort of along the way, things happen, things become quite dramatic, and let's hope they end up having a happy ending.
Oh no, it is. It's brilliant, and I think it's a type of musical that it makes you leave the theatre and just feel all really nice and warm inside, despite the weather outside. You actually go out going, "Yay!"
Yeah.
Why do you think Rodgers and Hammerstein music stands the test of time? Because it's been around for so long. It's not like an Andrew Lloyd Webber. These guys were like doing it way before, and real classics.
I know it. I don't know. I think they were just geniuses, weren't they? And to write songs and shows like The Sound of Music and The King and I, Oklahoma, Carousel, these are just the biggest hits of their generation. But not only their generation, every generation. It's just mad, isn't it? And just that combination of the music and the lyrics and the amazing book, especially the South Pacific. The script is as good as any play, and it won a Pulitzer Prize. I mean, not many musical scripts have won a Pulitzer Prize, and
I didn't know that at all. That is incredible.
Yeah, so not only are you getting the songs, but you're getting the story, which is amazing as well.
And I love the costumes as well. I've got to say, I kind of love that whole era.
Yeah, that vibe. Yeah, same.
But a nice thing about it. But we're really lucky to have you in Manchester. I do think, you know, it's great that we get West End stars now gracing our stage, because it means that we don't, you know, necessarily have to go to London. It makes it more accessible for everyone.
Oh yeah. And Manchester's become like a very hot kind of place to come and like open shows, isn't it?
It is, you know, and new shows are opening all the time. But you've been in, gosh, the big ones. You have been in Phantom, you've been Galinda in Wicked, another of my favourite musicals. You've been in Les Mis. I mean, is there one now that you just kind of think, oh, I might have that in my wish list after South Pacific? Because you've ticked off a lot.
I don't know. I was sort of thinking the other day that maybe The King and I would be quite a good part for me. You know, Anna and The King and I. A bit later on, maybe. You know, she's a little bit of an older character than the Juve leads.
You know what I've heard about that, Gina? I've heard that the dress is so heavy.
Heavy. Oh,
apparently,
no.
They have to just put it on in the wings and then take it straight back off again.
That's so funny. That reminds me of Glinda's big bubble dress, you know, in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, and not just the bubble dress, it's kind of like going in the bubble. Did you ever get scared of that moment? Because for me, watching it, you're like, I hope she's going to be okay up there.
I tried not to be scared. There was one point when I did the American tour of Wicked, and somebody was teaching somebody else how to do the automation, and they skipped a cue and went to the next cue, which was basically to bring the bubble straight down, and it basically just sort of plummeted to the ground.
So it wasn't a graceful bubble move.
No, it was like
Linda, you're going down.
Exactly. That was quite scary. And there was another time when I got up in the bubble and we got up to the top, and then the tornado warning started going off. So had to bring me straight down, and we all went and hid in the kind of understage bunker for about 45 minutes.
Where was that?
It was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in 2014. Yeah.
There's nothing like, you know, the show must go on even after incidents like that, and you're back in the bubble and ready to perform again.
Well, the irony of doing Wicked based on The Wizard of Oz with a tornado, I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a little bit crazy, that, isn't it? You're like life imitating art.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, get the red shoes on, take the home and all that. Now, this time around, am I right in saying that you have took your little one on tour?
Yep, he's here with me. Yep, he's one. Dougie, who's playing Billis in the show, is just looking after him right now while I'm doing this interview. It's definitely a cast. He's definitely a cast baby. He's a show baby, and everyone's been loving him being around.
That must be really good, because I think it must be difficult. I saw on your social media that you were doing a gig recently, and you got let down by the babysitter.
No, that was so weird. I don't even know what happened to this day. She just sort of disappeared.
I know. And you know what? As a mum of two myself, there is so much juggling that my hat goes off to you when you're doing a tour and a production like this, because it's not like you can miss a night or miss a gig.
No. Yeah, basically just got to try and like keep loads of babysitters kind of like on your kind of like, if you were in the old days, it would be like on your Filofax, you know, just like a whole load of numbers just in the last, like you could call in emergencies. And I've left my daughter at home as well, so I'm trying to get babysitters for her and babysitters for everyone.
Oh, you joke. Well, you know what? I've got a good car. You know, if you need anyone, Gina,
yeah, great. Thanks.
Give me a call. I'm good with children. I might be able to sing to them as well as you can, but you know, I'll do my best. I meant every word of that. You know, I will happily mind the children. I will do my best Mary Poppins impression and see if I can help out there. So many wonderful things I got to chat about with Gina Beck there in South Pacific. An absolute classic. So if you can catch her on tour, she's going up and down the country with this. And as we said in that interview, she's back up north in Leeds as well a little bit later on in the year. So do watch out for that one. Now, what else can you watch out for? Well, there's so many things happening in Greater Manchester. The best place to go to visit it is, of course, I Love Manchester's website. So if you want to find out what to do with the kids, maybe, because I know the school holidays, the summer have broken up. So maybe you want some ideas for where to take them, where to eat, where to drink, where to go and see a show, then do visit that website. And of course, you can always give us a follow on social media. We love a good follow. Spread the word. It's at Live in the Hive 21 on Twitter and also on Instagram. We're on Facebook too. This is where you find us every week, every Sunday from 8, and also in I Love Manchester's Facebook page. And that is where we'll be next week, because for now we're saying goodbye. And thank you very much to my guests, Jen Caldwell and Gina Beck. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Have a great week ahead, and I'll see you next Sunday.